Now, in terms of how much is happening, a survey recently came through, and 42% of the 8th graders have been bullied. 53% admitted that something mean or hurtful that they had said to other people. So half the people admitted it, which means more people are doing it. So it's fairly commonplace going online. Girls are twice as likely. I don't know what it is. Sometimes the girls, my daughter is like, rare. But girls tend to, for whatever reason, tend to be twice as likely to be involved in some of the bullying, the back and forth stuff, both as victims and as perpetrators, saying mean things about other girls or having girls say mean things about them. And the reason a lot of people commit crimes on the computer is they feel empowered. They feel that they're anonymous. And to some extent they are, and that's why I bolded this feel. If done right, you feel you can remain anonymous. But one good thing is, one of the first things I did when I became the sheriff is I started a computer crimes unit. And they're not just people that are good with the computer, they're men and women that can actually track people on the internet. They can find internet addresses and IPs and go through just internet service providers, execute search warrants, and track people back through the internet. So it's not as anonymous as some folks think or believe. In fact, it's a lot less than you can imagine. But they feel empowered. They feel they're faceless and nameless, and they can say and do things in the privacy of their home, and that goes into criminals, predators. More often than not, a lot of predators, instead of standing around schoolyards like they did in the old days, now are on the computer. They're trying to get into the same chat rooms. We've arrested people right here in Oakland County that were going to Nickelodeon. They go where kids are. So wherever the kids are online playing games, these predators will go online to try to be around them, engage them in conversation, try to get them let down their guard, give a couple pieces of personal information. Next thing you know, they know where they live, what school they go to, and they can begin patterning for victimization. So that's one of the things that empowers some of the bad guys on the internet. And the impact is obvious, where you've got, like this 13-year-old young man who was harassed on and offline and ended up taking his own life. That, unfortunately, is becoming an increasingly common story. It's an uncommon and terrible thing, but it's increasingly common things happening. In terms of, I used to say no personal information of any kind by anyone online, because you can search databases these days with an incredible accuracy and with incredible ease. And now it's gotten so crazy that with Facebook, people are putting their phone numbers and their home cities, and the cities they used to live in. I mean, you're just serving it up on a platter for people to run data checks on you. And there are so many now paid data firms that if you have a little bit of money, you can really run somebody down pretty deep. I was at a counterterrorism meeting in Washington, D.C. with the head of the FBI counterterrorism unit. We were meeting with a private vendor that was trying to sell us, national law enforcement, on their private database ability to search public documents and information. And he said, in essence, give me something you think nobody has, like a phone. So the FBI agent said, well, here's the phone number of his secret squirrel, counterterrorism FBI phone. Only Jack Bauer calls this thing. And the guy put in the number, and he came up with his name and home address. He said, well, where'd that come from? And, he did a little more planning, and he said, well, must have been on the way home and ordered a pizza for the family, and they asked your phone number and your address. Pizza company entered it into their database, and pizza company sold it to the data mining company. Bingo. All that stuff's out there in cyberspace. You share that, more than likely somebody's going to buy it and sell it. So what you don't want someone to have, don't share.